No.
Okay. So, session 3. We're beginning. Last time, we had a lot of carnival fun with the party, starting with a snail race, of all things, to begin with. So there were members of the party who were excited to try out and see if they could pit their skills against the other members of the audience. We have a few people who were slightly less or more reluctant to partake, but I ended up rolling them into the NPC roles anyway, so everyone eventually got to roll some dice. And after a hard-won battle, I believe it was Moni, your character, Moen, that crossed the finish line first and won.
Yes.
And you were presented with
A thing.
a thing. What was? What did you get? Do you remember?
Oh god.
Testing your knowledge now.
Why are you asking us to remember?
That's just seeing if you're paying attention. Because if you don't know, maybe you didn't get anything. Maybe you didn't have to add it to your thing.
Cruel.
No wait, I don't, because I got here a bit last minute. I don't have my notes open.
You got a potion of advantage, I think was what you got.
Oh yeah, I remembered it was a potion of some kind.
Yeah, a potion of advantage. So basically, it gives you, it's a single use, but for a set amount of time. I can't remember off the top of my head how long it is, but you will have the ability to roll with advantage on a particular attack or ability or saving. So you've got that. And sadly, in last place in this particular time was Bula, who tried extremely hard to get their snail to catch up, but unfortunately didn't quite make it at the last hurdle. However, the elf who was in charge of the ride gave you a consolation prize. And what was that consolation prize? Do you know?
The beautiful wand, which was totally not anything to do with the fact that Bula is quote-unquote magic.
Exactly. And it gives you the ability to cast it wasn't the light cantrip, was it? It was oh god, I've forgotten what it does now. It was something similar to that. It was the dancing lights, I think. I believe. I will it is in D&D Beyond, so I will be able to assign it to you if I haven't already.
I think it was dancing lights.
It was dancing light. Perfect. Okay. I will double check, but I'm pretty sure that is. I think it has a single use, but you can cast dancing lights with it. And then after that, the party separated in their sort of little groups that you are still in at the moment. Proceeded down from the arena, and I think we followed Galatea, who you stopped and talked to Mortimer and got yourself. Was it just more honey tea, or did you buy something else? I can't remember now.
I just got more honey tea.
More honey tea, and had a little conversation there before proceeding. And I believe Tisvan, Moira, and Amaros, you carried on going. You did stop and also purchase a few items as well. Tisvan was looking for something a little bit more traditional, something more like an ale or something that was not quite as sweet as the things that were offered. Unfortunately, this being the Faering festival, pretty much everything that is on offer is a sweet treat. The drinks, the food, everything that is here. There is no real sustenance. It's more candy and sweets and treats and things like that. However, I think, did he eventually take some glazed mushrooms, or was that Moira that took those?
He also took glazed mushrooms.
He took some of those as well. So you got those. And yeah. And what did you have, Amaros? What was it that you took?
I think I took the wine. I don't entirely remember. To
Right.
be honest.
I think you took a drink of some sort, so probably the...
Oh wait, it was the honey tea.
Oh, it was a honey tea as well, was it? Okay, perfect. And then I believe it was Bula and Kane. You overheard, perhaps, or were approached by one of the carnival people who were advertising the fact that the honey cake eating contest was starting very soon, and Bula seemed to be extremely excited about taking part in that. So you two headed on that way, and I think Galatea, you eventually sort of did you go there first of all, or did you go into the big tent?
I think I went into the tent first. And
Yeah.
then went out of the tent to get away from the thing. And
That's right. You managed to count the or correctly guess the amount of feathers that were on the cockatrice, didn't you?
Yeah.
You did. And what did you win?
I won my little fluffy spider.
That's right.
Spider climb.
That's right. You got a fluffy spider, cuddly spider that allows you to spider climb. But it only lasts for an hour, and then the toy turns into a real spider and scuttles away. So it's up to you whether you want to keep the plushie for all that time or whether you want to use the ability. So that is at your discretion. And then I think Bula, you were more than happy to go up on stage, but there was a reluctance in the party for other people to join in. Kane was there as support, but eventually was coerced onto the stage with the mention of keeping things balanced. And of course, Kane is very much about things being balanced, and so was persuaded to join the party. Between Bula up on the stage with the rest of the some other people from the crowd. And you began the contest. Bula, you started off strong, as did Kane and the other participants. Oh, one of them being Eddie, of course, that Galatea and Tisfin have an acquaintance with. And it looked like at one point Eddie was going to win. He seemed to be quite steadfast with his eating of these honey cakes, but unfortunately, slowly after Bula had started to have trouble eating the cakes, he also began to falter. And as a surprise victory to Kane, who was, unbeknownst to Bula, trying to throw the game so that she would win instead, actually ended up eating the most cakes at the end of the day, and ended up winning. And what did you win, Kane?
Definitely not, furiously clicking through my sheet trying to remember it all.
I think it was something.
What, you wrote things down?
It was a additional sweet. It was a cupcake, I believe, that when you ate it, made you go invisible.
That was it, and he looked at the cake and tried not to vomit.
Yes, exactly.
He ate more sugar.
Congratulations on eating all those cakes. Here's another cake. But yes, it has an ability, and it's basically like a potion of invisibility. It works in the same way, a single use, and you must drink every drop for it to be effective. So yes, you managed to do that, and while Moira and Tisfin were waiting outside, I believe outside the big tent, to see when the one of the sort of attractions were going to start. Amoros, you went into the main one of the bigger tents and tried your hand at a few games in there as well. You had a go at. Oh, I think actually Bula, you and Kane went in there as well, didn't you? Around the same time. And
all three went in together.
Yeah, that's right. You met up on the way, didn't you? You met sort of as you were crossing the sort of open area. You met up and went in there. And you, Bula, ready to win something finally, challenged to greased up goblins in a wrestling match. It looked like it was going to be a very close thing, as the two of them managed to slip and slide around and then almost getting to the point, I think, of pinning you. But you came out victorious in the end, with some dice rolls slightly in your favor, and you managed to win. And what did you win from that? Do you remember?
I got that unicorn horn of sweets, and I immediately gave them to Amoros because I was so done with sweets.
That's right, yes. You'd already full up.
Yes.
So you managed to get that, which is good. And then there was a chance to try and win something else by... I think one of you have a go at guessing the feathers on the cockatrice as well? Was that you, Amaros?
Yeah, that was.
Oh.
Was it the feathers or was there something in a jar? I remember doing.
There was
the feathers.
Yeah, there were feathers on the cockatrice, and then there was the Almirage ring toss, which actually, yes, Galatea, you had a go at that as well, didn't you? I believe they did. And I think one person might have won the ring toss.
I did.
You did. Okay, cool. So you won that, and then you also managed to catch the fairy dragon by the tail using your cunning, your skills to actually
Thank you for the sweets.
use the sweets as a treat to lure the little dragon to your hand before trying to catch it by the tail, in which you succeeded as well. So you got another prize, which was the wand that allowed you to cast prestidigitation several times on it as well. And I think that is where we left things. So, at the beginning of this session, you currently... Oh, there's my doorbell. Fantastic. You managed to... I'm sure someone will get that, or they'll come back another day. You find yourselves just leaving the main tent where you were going to... where you just have won your prizes, coming back out with the crowds of people, the children running around, all very excited as well. It's probably just getting to just beyond midday at this point, and there are lots of people still going around. There do seem to be more people eating now, spending their money at the shops and things. A lot of children who, although they've had plenty of candy and things as they've been running around, probably now getting hungry for a proper meal. So some people will be going back into the town itself to get food. Others are maybe have brought sandwiches or various food, because as a lot of people in town already know, the Faering festival is a time where people spend quality time together with their families and loved ones, and so a lot of people will come out with picnics and things within the outskirts of Dag. So we find ourselves now. You found yourselves outside the tent. What would you like to do? Oh, sorry, and I forgot to mention. Sorry, yes, Galatea, you and Eddie met up after the cake eating contest, didn't you? I slipped my mind suddenly then. And you went off to have a conversation. And
let him settle a little after.
Yes, so you did help him with the casting of, what was it? I forgot now.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was.
Oh, was that Amaranth? I thought someone cast.
Kane cast a spell on me to make me feel less sick.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you'd done the same thing, Galatea. Maybe that was my misunderstanding. But you went off to have a little sit down and a little chat, and went back up to where the little mushroom tables and chairs are, by the food area.
Sorry, just got a call.
Oh. Still going on today, yeah?
So Eddie and I went over to sit across the thing on some mushroom chairs. Sat down for a little while, and then walked off back towards the snails, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yes. You walked back in that direction because you were both interested, or he was interested in finding out what it was, this snail racing that you had talked to him about.
Yeah. So that's where we're going at the moment.
Okay. And so after you've done the wrestling and won a few prizes, Bula and Kane, what are your plans now?
I think we were headed for the big tent.
And Tisfan and Moira, you were both currently waiting outside, and you were told, I think, when you went there that it would be a little bit later on that the whatever is going to go on in the big top is going to happen.
Yes.
Amaros, what are you up to?
Amaros Maros will be heading over to the tent too, as he was literally going to check out these minigames and then meet up with his friends. So that's where he'll be heading. To the big tent.
Okay. All right, so you all head to the big tent. I'll just move you all over there then.
Oh my god, the party's uniting.
So when you get there, you find that, yes, as indeed, I'm sure Tisman or Moira will tell you, that whatever is going to be happening in this tent isn't happening until later. So, yeah. Galatea, you are heading up to the snail area with Eddie. Let me unpause the game so that you can move yourselves.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean until the tent is open, you are free to do whatever you like, or if you want to wait, then you are free to do that as well.
I mean, I'm down to just wait for this thing to open.
Yeah, if that's the consensus, I think Kane would feel the same way. Maybe just sort of do his usual keeping vigilant, keeping an eye on who's coming in and out of the gates when he's got a chance.
Okay. Galatea, you and Eddie head up to the snail racing,
Yeah.
and when you get there, you'll see that you'll be able to show Eddie, where the snails were, what were happening. But it's obvious from what you can see when you get there that the snails are currently sort of in a pen to one side, and they're currently being washed and groomed and fed, and it looks like they're probably preparing to have another snail race at some point. But currently the stands and things are empty after the race, which has probably only happened maybe half an hour or so before.
Yeah. Oh. It seems like we might have to wait a little while. Do you want to go somewhere else?
Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing the snail race later on when it begins. I do have one other thing I would like to do, if that's all right, but perhaps it's something a bit delicate, a bit personal. Idunith, my bookkeeper, for want of a better word, she's had some rather bad news recently, and I sent her here to try and take her mind off things. I feel like it's my duty that I should probably check in on here, so I will, if you don't mind, I feel like it would be something that I would need to talk to her alone, if that's all right. But I would be more than happy to meet up with you later if you are around.
I'd like that.
Good.
Don't worry, I understand. Yeah, more than most, needing some personal space.
And he'll just take your hand and give it a squeeze and say, I had no doubt that you would understand. Thank you. And please enjoy the carnival, and perhaps I will meet you up later. I believe there is some sort of ceremony towards the end of the evening. Perhaps I'll see you there before it happens.
That sounds good. I hope you find her.
Thank you. I'm sure I will. She stands out in a crowd.
A bit, yeah. Just like you.
And he will just give you another squeeze, and then he will leave.
Galatea will do the same. Watch him for a minute, then look around a little bit lost for a minute, and head back down towards the there's that little stall at the bottom with some items on it. They're gonna check out.
Which one?
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
Cool. Yep, you can go to that stall there.
Because was it Mortimer
Mortimer, yeah.
said his daughter was at one of these, so
That's right, yes. I don't know if he told you her name, but yes, he did say his daughter was working at one of the other stalls there as well, and you pointed in this direction. So, yes, that is where you will find her.
cool.
Okay. So while you're making your way back over there, the rest of you waiting outside the tent are you standing together? Are you separate still in groups, or have you sort of began talking to each other, or you're all sort of standing around in front of this tent currently?
Amros would first meet up with Bulla. No. Well, he would still be with Bulla and Kane, but as they move over to Tisven and Mok, he would try to introduce them to each other and also show off a few of the things that he won.
Awesome. Okay. So as you're talking and after you introduced each other and you're having a conversation of some sort, there will be a goblin who will come up and he will go up to where the signage is that tells you about the events and things of the day, and he will just come over and he will just sort of pop a smaller red sign over the top of the performance, the morning performance, and he will just look towards you. As you can see, you're all sort of waiting outside. The sign itself says cancelled, and he will just say,
excuse me, sorry to interrupt. I'm afraid if you're waiting for the performance, I'm afraid there has been an incident. I'm afraid that the morning show has had to be cancelled. But Madame Katrina and her performance this afternoon should go ahead as planned. I'm terribly sorry. If you would like, I could give you one more punch on your card if that would be of help, so you can enjoy another event.
Is someone hurt, or is it just equipment that's broken down?
Nothing to worry about. No, it's perfectly fine. No one's injured or anything like that. No, just an illness. You know, so people who get sick sometimes. It happens a lot when the carnivals travel and things. Someone might eat something not agreeable with them, and nothing to worry about. I assure you. Please, if you pass me your card, I will rejuvenate one of the slots for you as a way of saying sorry.
All right. And Amros is gonna present his card to him.
Okay. And he just sort of puts his finger over one of the holes. He rubs his finger on the front and the back, and then takes them away, and one of your holes in your card has been restored.
Anybody else? I feel like I should. You're all been waiting very patiently. I'm so sorry. Let me renew your card for you.
And if you happen to hand him your card, he will use the same magic trick to renew one of your holes in your card. I believe Tisfin is the only one who won't receive any because his card is unpunched.
Okay, yeah. I'd hand it over.
Okay, yep. So he does a little trick, and you now have an additional one of the holes is filled back in again. Yep.
Because Ken did it, Bula will do it too.
Okay, and he will do the same for you.
I guess I will just say to the goblin fellow, if you have any more problems and you need a hand with them, don't be afraid to come and ask me. I'm more at this festival to help out those that are here than enjoy the festivities.
He'll nod and he'll say, "Oh, well, thank you very much. No, I don't think there's anything you can do at this time, but thank you very much." for your indulgence. But please don't worry. Please enjoy the festival. That is what it is here for. I'm sorry, I must be going. I just have to go and check on some more members of staff. So thank you very much. And he'll just sort of scoot back off into the tent, and he'll just roll down the entrance flap, and just to make sure no one wanders in.
Well, that is unfortunate.
Galatea, you come up to the tent or the store that is here, and you will see a tall, attractive young human woman with long red hair that's sort of braided behind her. She's got sort of freckles and on across her face and rosy complexion. And she's just got a simple sort of white shirt with blue pinstripes, a blue dress laced at the front with a yellow ribbon and a leather sort of apron tied around her waist. And she's just serving a few children that and giving them a few items. One of the sticks with the bells on it that you see many of the kids are running around.
The sticks. Why do you have to make every single NPC really hot?
Sorry.
Talk to the very attractive human woman.
So you're gonna go up to the store?
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, could I please have one of those little sticks with the bell on it?
Oh, a jingle stick? Of course you can. Yes, and would you like anything else? We have a range of things here that you could try.
Oh yes. Well, I don't know how much. What do you have?
So our jingle sticks are 5 copper pieces,
and you see they're like a foot-long stick that has coloured ribbon wrapped around it, and then it has 3 kind of ornate bells that sort of hang from a red cord at the very end. And all the children sort of have these, and you can hear basically wherever you go in this place, you can hear this ringing and jingling constantly. But she turns around and she sort of shows you on the back wall. There's kind of all these things sort of pinned to it, and items sort of on the counter that she can show you as well. And she shows you there is a mushroom capped teacup, which is it's sort of varnished, and it has what she tells you, there's an enchantment on it that keeps the liquid within it permanently lukewarm. So it'll always, your tea will always be at a temperature where you can sort of drink it. There is a tiny wooden sylph, which is a beautifully carved, like a wooden idol, and she tells you that it's supposed to resemble a fairy princess from the story of the Faering festival. There is also a pixie plushie, which is a small crocheted pixie with pointed ears. It's got little wings and little antennae, and she tells you that it's got an enchantment on it that if you squeeze its tummy, it plays a short little tune. She also has a fairy dragon whistle, which is a colourful wooden whistle that makes a noise similar to a fairy dragon's call.
Oh, I like that one.
And then behind her on the wall, you see there's a frame which has a sort of an old-looking parchment in it, and it's hasn't really got a plaque as such. But it looks like almost like a letter with a sort of a seal at the bottom of it, that's just sort of perched up on the wall behind her.
How much is that?
I'm sorry, say again?
How much is the whistle, the fairy dragon?
The fairy dragon whistle? It comes in an arrangement of colours. It's 2 silver pieces for that.
Okay.
Each colour has a slightly different sound that's supposed to emanate the call of that particular type of fairy dragon.
Could I have a blue one, please?
Of course you can, yes. And would you like it wrapped?
That's not necessary, thank you.
Very well. And she'll just take it out of one of the off the desk that she's got a blue one, and she'll just place it on the counter in front of you. Would you like anything else?
I think that is everything. Was it two silver and eight copper?
Oh, and the jingle stick as well? Yes,
yeah.
2 silver pieces and 5 copper pieces.
Oh, 5.
Yes.
Okay.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Here you go. And she'll just place the 2 items in there in front of you. I wish you luck finding the fairies on this joyous of days.
Thank you.
You're very welcome in. Have fun.
Thanks. Awkwardly step aside and
Yeah, there'll be a load of children, other adults behind you, ready to jump in and start purchasing items and stuff. So you see one of the kids is sort of crying and pointing at the pixie plushie, and the mother's trying to dissuade them and say they haven't got enough money for that, and she'll buy them some fairy floss later on if they're good, and they want both, and it just carries on.
I'll be right back, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So, the rest of you standing outside the tent, what are you up to?
Amoros kind of wants to see if he can buy souvenir to bring home, so he's actually gonna look over to where Galatea was previously and see if he finds anything of interest as he looks over.
Sure, okay. You can head on over there. So there's a few little people just sort of like buying bits and pieces as well, but it's not long until you can get to the front and to the counter. And you see this same human woman with long red hair in braid, and she welcomes you over and says, what can I get you today on this fine day?
Oh, lovely to meet you, madam. I'm just looking to see if I can find anything interesting. How much of these what are they? Tiny dragons? Any points at the? I think you said there were flutes.
So there's a fairy dragon flute, which is just a carved wooden whistle, and they come in a variety of different colours. And when you blow on them, they've almost like a slide whistle, where you sort of blow and then pull the slide down, and it will make a noise similar to the call of a fairy dragon.
Can I give one a try?
Unfortunately, because of health and safety reasons, we're not allowed to actually let you put your mouth and blow in the whistle. But I can. I have a test one here that I can blow if you like.
Nothing.
Which colour?
Let's try the silvery one.
Silver, of course. And she'll pick one up and she'll just put it to her lips and slowly pull the pin down a slide, and it makes this a very light kind of almost giggling noise as she slides it down. Very similar to the fairy dragon that you had listened to as it was flying around you, making a giggling noise when you were blindfolded. It's slightly different. It's slightly higher pitch, but yes, definitely the same kind of sound that it makes.
That's fantastic. I'll take one, please.
Of course. That will be 2 silver pieces, please. Would you like it wrapped?
Yeah.
Lovely.
That wouldn't be a problem, then please do.
Of course. No charge for that. She'll take a fresh silver whistle for you, and she'll just wrap it up in some yellow, almost like tissue paper, wrap it round, and then proceed to put a blue bow around it and tie it up nicely for you, and then place it on the counter in front of you. Just 2 silver pieces, please.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And he slides over 2 silver pieces as well as 10 copper as a little bonus.
Oh, well, quite unnecessary, sir, but very, very much appreciated. Thank you very much. I hope the rest of the carnival goes well for you, and hope you are able to find a fairy.
And may the fairies bless us all, I would say.
Of course, of course.
And he's gonna pocket it in his backpack and return to the group.
Okay, lovely.
So while this is happening, I think that Kane, being vigilant like he is, he'll turn to Bula and just say, maybe while we're waiting for the big top to open up again for the afternoon show, we could take a wander around and just make sure that everything's going okay. No dodgy people or anything happening.
Oh yes, that's a fantastic idea. Let's go. And Bula will just kind of grab Kane's hand and walk away with him.
Yes, we wouldn't want to get lost in the festival. Yes, we should hold hands for safety reasons, of course.
Excellent.
Bye.
Welcome back. And so which way do you head?
I would imagine we'd probably, let me get my ruler here, we'd probably start heading in this direction,
Okay.
to the west, and probably just take a patrol, maybe up past the snail race, and then back down again.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Are you looking for anything particular, or just keeping your eyes open, or?
Maybe, with your permission, an insight check, just on the people around the festival.
Sure, yeah. What are you trying to gauge?
Just that nobody's trying to hide anything that's going to have a negative impact on the festival. You know, nobody's trying to pull any silly pranks that are gonna make people upset.
Okay. Yeah, you can give me. You want to give me a couple of insight rolls as you go round, just to kind of gauge, kind of like a few people every now and again. If there's anyone in particular that you think looks like they're being overly silly, or anyone that looks like they're not having fun, or that they might be up to no good, or trying to spoil things in any way, you can give me an insight roll for that. So if you just give me a couple of insight rolls, and we'll see if anyone flags up.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, as you're going round, most people here, there seem to be, like, say, families and children who are sort of running around, and many children desperately kind of trying to get onto various different rides, seeing their friends running around. The air is filled with a jingle of these sticks that they've got, and bells and things constantly. So your eyes are pretty much all you've got to go on, because the noise is drowning out any conversations that people might be having constantly, with all the noise going on around you. There are a few people who look upset, but it's mainly children who haven't got their way, or maybe feeling ill from eating too much candy. But nobody that you see along the way that looks like they might be up to any mischief. None of the carnival hands that you see as you're going around seem to be in anything other than their what are we going to say? They seem to be in, like, high spirits and kind of like entertaining the crowds and things. No one seems to be sort of amiss, or anyone who's not sort of partaking with everyone else. And in fact, as you go around, you'll see a couple of different people, sort of performers, who are walking through. You'd seen previously that when you came in, there was I think it was a tiefling stilt walker at the front who was, like, throwing candies out. You see him sort of walking around and entertaining the crowds. There's also who was it you saw earlier? There was a juggler, I believe, you saw. Can't remember what their name was now. It's left my mind. But there was you see another tiefling walking around there who's got a sort of a shimmery yellow skin to it, and she has these bright red hair in a kind of a short pixie cut. She's got brown sort of straight horns that come up and forward on the top of her head, and she seems to be wearing like a red leather top with a harness over her shoulders, and then baggy white harem pants, and then a red sash around her waist, and she's walking sort of bare feet through the crowd. And the reason for the harness, you can see, is that attached to her back she's got these large several large tree branches that kind of crisscrossed over her back, and on top of the branches are many different colorful birds all sitting on them. And as she walks down the paths of entertaining people as well, you can see that she's playing a very long ornate flute with gold trim, and the birds that are sitting on either side are all singing along as she plays the flute. And as you get close to her, her music sort of almost drowns out the monotony of the ringing bells that you hear, and it's sort of very captivating as you go through.
Okay, I think that Kane's definitely taking a mental note of all of this, as well as I am taking physical notes. I think that maybe he would try to give some just light medical advice to the children that were feeling a bit ill. Sit down for half an hour, drink plenty of water, try not to move around too much.
Excellent. Yeah, and they some of the children who are running on their own sort of like nod and thank you for the advice, and they sort of sit with their friends. Some of the parents, seeing you come up to the children, initially sort of wonder why a strange man is wandering up to their children, but then realize who you are and that they've seen you at the temple and walking around away, and they're like, "Oh, thank you very much for helping." You sort of continue your perimeter around, checking on people, but as of yet, on your journey around, you don't see anything out of the ordinary, anything you wouldn't think would be normal for a carnival situation. It just seems to be like lots of families and people just having fun and enjoying themselves.
I think that that's comforting to Kane. He wasn't particularly looking for trouble. He was more making sure that there wasn't any. So he's pleased to see that things are going the way they should be.
Cool. Moira and Amaros, what are you guys up to while they're trolling around? Let's move you to just so we're over about here.
I played Amaros let me play around with the wand a little bit.
Right.
After which I gave it back because he won it, so it is his.
Have you been casting prestidigitation on anyone?
No, wrong one. The candlestick.
Oh, the candlestick. Okay.
What do you say that this was?
So over to the side there is a stage, and there was a sign on it that the Madame Katrina, the last sort of closing event of the night, will be happening at this stage towards the end of the carnival. That is there were two events happening. One was in the tent, the large tent behind you, and one was at the stage.
Ah, okay.
Highly unfortunate that the performance is cancelled.
Yeah, but what can you do? I mean, accidents happens, and hopefully, or at least by the sound of it, it's not too bad, just that I need to rearrange some things.
Hopefully no one's hurt too bad. But what do we do now?
I don't know. Do you feel like playing a game or something?
I don't know. There's so much going on. Ah.
As you're standing there, you hear the crowd sort of cheering and yelling and that. And if you look down past the stage, sort of towards the entrance where you were previously, you'll see that there's an elf who is currently on these sort of high stilts, walking down amongst the crowds, and many children following him. And he's got this bag. He was one of the people that you saw when you first came in, and he's currently throwing sweets out, and children are grabbing them and pocket as many as they can into their pockets currently, and he's just happily smiling down at them, throwing them and telling them to enjoy the festival. And he's just making his way through in a sort of a circuit around the main tent, and he is also just slowly behind him. There is another carnival person. He's an ogre, but if you happen to have seen any ogres before, he's relatively short for an ogre, but definitely an ogre. But he just seems to be quite squat for his normal size. He's still about 9 feet, but that's relatively short for a sort of an ogre. And he's got this quite muscular grey blue skin. Big round tummy, a big friendly smile, even though he's got these sort of crooked teeth that sort of pointing out of his lower jaw. And it looks like he's got a sort of a short but full black beard, which again is unusual because ogres don't generally have facial hair or anything like that. He's bare-chested and wears a sort of a blue loincloth, and has a large like brass braces on each of his wrists. But what mainly stands out about him, as you see him sort of proceeding behind, and all the children sort of carrying on around him, running between his feet and stuff as well. In one hand, he seems to be sort of his hands sort of lowered down on the ground, and he has about 9 children that he's currently just sort of lifting up and down. They all grab hold of his very thick fingers, and he's just sort of like moving his hand up and down, just lifting them off the floor. Seems to be of no insignificant weight to him. He's just like lifting his hand, and the kids are all yelling and laughing as they're being lifted up super easy. But across his shoulder, that he's holding something on his shoulder, is an enormous red fish that he's just basically got over his shoulder. It's almost like if you know what a red emperor fish looks like bright red fish. This thing has to weigh like, I don't know, 200 kilos or something like that. And he's just over his shoulder carrying this massive fish on his shoulder, and just walking through smiling and basically entertaining the crowds with his strength.
Moira is immediately absolutely terrified at the sight of this ogre.
Yeah, I mean, he towers above you. Yeah, like he wouldn't even see you.
And hides behind Amaros immediately. And so
Amaros kind of just smiles at her, like, "Don't worry, he's not gonna hurt you."
Why is so big?
That
Are you
doesn't
sure?
mean he has a big heart.
Are
I
you
mean,
sure
look at
he's
his
not
playing
gonna-
with the children.
He could easily stomp me.
You're not that small.
You just see him and the Stiltwalker. They just walk through the middle of the main area, and they head up the right, up this way, up the right entrance as they pass. Stiltwalker throwing out candy as he proceeds, and the strong man stopping only to perform feats of great strength as he goes along, picking up children, picking up anyone who wants to be picked up, basically coming along. It's like, oh, can you lift this? Can you lift that? In fact, even as he passes any areas that might have, for instance, a cart or something like that, he will put the giant fish down on the ground, picking up the cart and lifting it above his head, and just showing off his bulging muscles in either arm, and then putting it down and carrying on. And just seems to be part of his act, which is just going around and showing how strong he is. Galatea, what are you up to while this is all going on?
Ooh.
You will see both of these people as well because you're standing sort of in a similar area.
Okay. Do I notice the other lot?
Give me a perception check to see if you spot them in the crowd.
Okay. All my dice things are not there.
Your dice things are not there. Are you on the right thing? You need to go to the little chat message bubble at the top left on the
Yeah.
message.
It was just at the top. Usually it had rolls. I'll just do it manually.
Yeah, yeah. It should be there. It should be at the bottom of the thing.
Ooh.
Very good. Yeah, I say with a 24, you, even though Moira is particularly short compared to other humans and other races who are sort of walking around here, you see the tips of Amoros's horns, and you notice Moira and Tisfan mainly because you were sort of briefly introduced to him from Eddie as you passed earlier. And you see the three of them standing outside the front of this tent, looking at the procession almost of the Stitwalker and Strongman as they walk through the crowds.
I'm gonna take a deep breath and shuffle over towards them and go, hi, the big tent. Do you know what's in there, or what's going to be, or has been?
Hey there. By the sound of it, it seems they had an accident in there, but there should be an event later today at least. My name is Amoros, by the way. Lovely to meet you.
Oh, hi, Galatea. So, I hope it's nothing serious. The accident, I mean.
By the sound of it, they might have to cancel one event, but they should be able to carry on later. I'm not sure if it's the same guys or not, so... But by the sound of it, it's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
Galatea, remind me, have you actually given your description yet? I'm not sure if you have. You have?
I did last time.
Cool. Okay, I was just making sure because I know the other ones, everyone else has sort of bumped into each other a few times, so they have done it, and I couldn't remember if we'd done it for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Did I? I'm not sure now.
I'm actually unsure if you did.
I can't remember if you did or not, because the only other interaction you've had is a brief sort of like nod to Tisman, I think, when you were sitting outside the snails. So I don't know if you've actually given anyone a description.
I don't think we actually have had Galateas. I think we've had everyone but us theirs.
Okay, well, should I do it? Just
Yeah. What when you come over to Moira and the others, what do you look like? What do they see when you come up?
You see a very pale, freckled human person with quite androgynous features. They sound feminine, but walk not so gracefully. they are wearing like a dark red high-collared shirt and high-waisted trousers and a sort of greenish grey cloak where the hood is down, and then wearing cute little blue fairy wings and holding a bunch of stuff. A jingle stick, a cup, and a little fluffy spider.
And a flute.
And a flute. Yeah. I think they pocketed the flute.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, they've got sort of longish hair tied up in a bun. Brown. Good. I feel like I get more awkward when I play her.
This is a rubbing off on you in real life.
Mhm.
Excellent. Cool. So you have a little conversation, and the day continues. You see other circus carnival people. There are actually more people walking around now than when you first entered. There was a stilt walker and there's a couple of people, but there now seems to be more entertainers walking in the streets. And it's probably because the whatever event was going to be happening in the Big Tent isn't happening now, that perhaps the entertainers that would have been in there are now just ingratiating themselves with the rest of the people who are there, so that at least they get to see some sort of entertainment. The people who are walking around, there are acrobats, there are musicians, there are strong people, there are various different entertainers that sort of walk around the area as well. And there are beginning to be formed little groups, little sort of circles of people every now and again throughout the area, in and around the rides that are there, with just an entertainer sort of in the middle and then surrounded by people. And if you, Bula and Kane, if you're continuing your parole going around, you can give me a couple more insight checks if you want, to see if you see anyone or notice anything of anyone.
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure if Bula is doing any like looking of her own.
I mean, she's doing it a little, but she's also not entirely focused because she's very distracted by holding Ken.
I will do a few more insight checks.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah. So you continue walking around. We'll say that you do sort of like a full perimeter by this point, just to sort of speed things along. And you pass various other groups of people as well. There are, as I said, like little rings almost forming every now and again, where there's an entertainer in between the crowds and people gathering. You see you passed the musician earlier. You also see another character who appears to be a find the information because I'm trying to find it as I'm talking, but I can't find it. Yes, so there's a furbolg, rather sort of muscular, grey-blue skinned furbolg. He stands out from the crowd. He's quite tall. He's got slicked back pink hair and a pink, large, bushy beard. He's got various piercings in his ears and his nose, and he is bare-chested, but he has a long sort of black cape down his back that's sort of fastened to one side with a large gold brooch. There are leather wraps around his hands, which seem to have sort of like blackish, sootish marks on his hand. And he's got some well-worn 3/4 length blue trousers. And is walking barefoot around, similar to the woman with the pipe we saw earlier. On his hip, he has a large gourd of well, you know what it is, but just large gourd. And on the other side of his hip, he seems to have an arrangement of different bottles. Bottles of different coloured sand. And as he's sort of walking through, and a crowd come around him, he takes out the bottle, the gourd from his belt. He takes a large mouthful of whatever's inside, and then he holds out an arrangement of sands to somebody in the crowd. And they pick one of the bottles, or a couple of the different bottles. And you see him just tilt his head back, and he these bottles are kind of got a very they're reasonably large, but they've got a very small stopper in the end, so the sand when poured out is very fine. And he tilts his head back and sticks his tongue forward, and he just sort of pours the sand. The people in the crowd pick, let's say, yellow and blue, and he'll just slowly pour the sand onto his tongue, but move it, so he's obviously creating some sort of pattern. And then he'll do the other second color. And once he's finished, he will retract his tongue into his mouth briefly, and then with his hand up to his face, he will snap his fingers, creating a fire bolt over for a cantrip for a flame, and then exhale this liquid that was in his mouth along with the sand, and bursting from his lips, this huge colorful fireball ignites and fires up above him into the sky. And when it burns off, the sand falls down glittering, and it makes up the pattern of the person who picked the sand in the crowd. And it just hangs there in the air for a few seconds as the glitter fades down, and as the remainder of the sand crystals just dissipate, they then fall to the ground. This image just slowly fades, and then the crowd all cheer. And he continues until somebody else stops him to do a similar trick again.
At first, I think Kane is maybe he's too well trained, and almost goes to unstrap his quarterstaff from his back when he sees the bright flames. But then he remembers where he is, and sort of takes his hand away and just marvels at the display.
And Bula, you stand there as well. You continue your patrol with Kane.
I do, yeah.
And as you're coming round, you will also pass the stilt walker, and then you will also see the ogre as well, carrying the massive fish on their shoulder, performing similar acts as I mentioned before as well, until eventually you come back to the front of the tent, where those of you who have come in contact with the rest of the party see, I guess, are you all standing still outside the front of the tent, or do you move on?
Yeah. Looking really awkward.
Yeah. You see an awkward woman you think a woman standing in with the group that you left a half an hour or so before.
Welcome back, guys.
Oh, hi.
By the looks of things, we still have some time to kill before the next event. So, do we want to try to do a game together? All 6 of us?
6? Sure. Yes. Thank you.
If you want, of course.
I'll say there's time enough to do one more event, or all together, or apart, whichever you prefer. And then we'll jump forward into the evening, I think.
Okay.
Just so that because we're an hour in, and I want to make sure that we get to the finishing point that I would like to get to today, for where we would need to be.
I mean, I'm also open to just skipping ahead now and us all being like, oh hey, we've met up, but we've done all the things, so let's just hang around together until the thing.
Yeah, it's up to you. You can. I'll say if you want to do one more thing beforehand, we can, or we can just skip to the evening event. It's up to you.
We can skip.
I'm fine with you.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we'll just skip to the evening, shall we? All right.
I'm good.
Okie dokie. So let me. Oh, I didn't mean to make it.
Ooh, nighttime.
I didn't mean to make it super dark, but it's gone that way anyway.
Nighttime.
Can you guys
Oh, it
still
got really
see,
dark.
or is it very dark for you? Oh god, I put a light down by mistake. Whoops. Can you guys
Hello.
see, or are you in
I'm
complete darkness?
Barely see.
It
Okay.
is a bit dark.
Right, let me 1 second. Let me change the. I didn't. There was no setting for changing the. It was either night or day. That was the two options I had. So 1 second. let me just change it back to day for a second, and I will do it a different way. How's that? That made a difference?
That seems good.
Yeah,
That's
so
fair.
it's a bit darker, but it's not dark. That's fine. So it's just the evening. Okay. Oh, God. Put another light down. Right, here we go. I've got control of things. It's fine. All right. So, let me just put you in the right place. So, towards the evening, as events can carry on during the day, there are slowly people start to gather outside the main tent, where there is a stage that has been sitting there most of the day, empty, and there have been people around who are obviously getting things started, and obviously alerting people to the fact that there will be a single event that will happen at the end that will round out the day. And you've had a very good day here. You've tried some of the rides, you've purchased some of the items, you've won yourself a few prizes. It's been a nice day. Many of the children who were here earlier have been maybe taken off to bed a bit earlier if they were very young, or there may be still a few who have been kept up a little bit later just to see the last performance, as this is a centenary, and so maybe the parents are letting them stay up a little bit longer just to kind of see this, because this won't happen again for some time. And so as the afternoon draws in, the crowds begin to collect in front of the big top, and from what you've gathered, there is to be a final show of some kind to round out the festival. Standing in the center of the stage, before that happens, I'll just say that you are joined by Galatea. Eddie will meet up with you again, and we will be with you at this point, and have joined, and he will acknowledge you and Tisfan, and he will say hello to anybody else that is in your group as well. He's quite a polite chap, and he will also be joined by Ideneth as well, who will probably probably stick to Tisfan, as they know them as well. So you're all together basically towards the end of the evening. Now that the crowd has grown and the sun has diminished, there are lights on the stage that slowly come on, slowly flicker on, little candles that are lit. And in the center of the stage, you see a character that I'll describe again for you, for those who didn't see him earlier. A tall, furbolg character, muscular, grey-blue skin, slick-back pink hair with a large, big, pink bushy beard, and a black cape down one side. And he comes onto the center of the stage, and he waits for the crowd until it's fully gathered before sending out a colourful array of flames in patterns across the sky. And you just see him swig this from this large gourd that he has and spit these various colourful flames. Some look like deers sort of leaping across the sky. Some look like butterflies. Some are just sort of shapes that sort of spew out and kind of twirl around into the air. But it gets everyone's attention, and so the crowd cheer and holler at the sight. And after a few minutes, he bows deeply to the crowd for their thanks, and then he speaks out. My dear friends, I hope you have enjoyed this day of merriment and magic. And now, I am delighted to introduce our final act of the night. May I introduce, for your enjoyment, for your wonder, the all-seeing, the all-knowing, Madame Katrina. And the crowd cheers as Amir, that's his name, waves his hand and takes a bow towards the left of the side of the stage. As emerging from an ornate purple tent, you see an elderly goat woman sitting in some kind of wooden chair with small wagon wheels attached to either side, being pushed up a small ramp at the back of the stage and pushed directly up and underneath the table that you see at the start. Uncover her. There she is. Yes. So they push her onto into a sitting up to the table. The two attendants, and then after making sure that she is comfortable, the two attendants leave, and one places a large box that they were carrying just underneath the table next to her. And the elderly woman sits there for a moment, and the crowd goes silent, waiting to see what she says. She looks out across the crowd and silence, and then slowly she draws a breath and begins to speak.
The Faering Festival. Long have I known its tragic tale. Yet, let me retell it, this story once more, for it may be that time has softened its edges.
And she takes in a long rattled breath.
Long ago, a mortal man, by chance, found their way into the realm of Fairy. There he met a beautiful Fey princess with hair of shimmering violet, and was instantly enchanted by her.
And as she continues, Amir, who's standing by the side, uses his fire magic to project images in the sky. And so, as she's speaking, he lets out sort of different colors. The blue for this mortal, and you see a man standing. And he then lets out another violet color to show a Fey princess with long hair in a dress, standing holding hands in the center.
For months, the pair trysted, knowing full well that their union was forbidden in Fey law, and that great suffering would befall them should they ever be discovered. Unable to deny their feelings, the two pledged their love in secret, binding themselves to one another with rings of cobalt. However, the Seelie court was not so easily deceived. Disgusted by their bedeviled union, the two lovers were ambushed one night. The man was banished from the Feywild, cast back through the portal into the mortal realm, and cursed to never again find the entrance. The princess was imprisoned within her princedom, trapped until the day she renounced her love. Though he never found his way back in his lifetime, it is said the Fey princess still resides in her castle, waiting to be reunited with her love.
And she takes another long rattled breath.
Like all good love stories, there is still hope.
And she pulls from her under her cloak. Oh, I should have actually given you a better description of what she looks like. Let me do that now. So she is a goat woman. She is elderly and very wrinkled. She's got rounded shoulders and is hunched in the chair that she sits. She's got many adornments and trinkets pierced through her long wispy ears that she has. And she has long silvery grey hair flowing down her back, with a large sort of poof tied up on the top of her head. She's got 2 thick horns that trail off behind her, each with additional smaller horns that grow from either side. They have many notches in them. They almost look like they're made from wood. Intricate tattoos can be seen on her forearms and any visible skin that she has. And she's wearing these purple and white robes with a fluffy collar, and she has a sort of a thick rope belt tied around her waist. And so she says, she takes from her pocket an object, and she slaps a deck of cards down on the table in front of her.
Mayhap one of you will find the entrance to the fairy plane this day, and reunite the cursed lovers?
And then from the crowd, a small halfling boy hops up on the stage with a glass bowl full of what looks like pieces of parchment. And the goat woman places her hand inside the bowl, swirls them around until finally she grabs a handful and throws them down on the table in front of her.
Let me see. Yes. 2 spades, 4 diamonds, a king, a key, 7 hearts, and a single club. And people in the crowd look around at each other, a little confused and sort of murmuring about what she's talking about. And then she says, Come, my dears. If your ticket holds these symbols, come and have your fortune told by my Mary.
And she smiles warmly towards the crowd. So, if you'd like to look at your tickets and see if you have any of those symbols on them.
Wait.
What?
What?
I have a crown.
Oh.
And I think it is 2 spades.
Where's the things? Ah!
So if you go to your journal, you should be able to see the cards that you were assigned.
Yeah, what was it? What were the things again?
So, 2 spades, 4 diamonds, a king, a key, 7 hearts, and a single club. So if you have any of those symbols on your ticket, let me know.
I've got a key.
I have a crown.
A crown, okay.
I'm not sure which one it is though, like, because there's one crown on the top middle of the ticket, and then one on the bottom left.
Let me have a little look. Excuse me.
I think it's the bottom left because I have 4 diamonds spread across the 2 bottom corners of my ticket.
I've got 1 key at the bottom.
You got a key, okay. So key, 4 diamonds. You said you had 2 spades, Amros?
Yes.
What about the others? Was Tisman had? I'm trying to find them in my little list of journal things now. I don't know if I have them in here to have a look at now.
Oh no!
Yeah, they don't seem to be in my journal entry. Perhaps I assigned them and didn't assign them to myself as well. But essentially, oh, hang on, here we go. I found them. Okay, so Amoros, you have the 2 spades. Bula, you have 4 diamonds. Galatea, you have a key.
Yeah.
Kane, are you here, Kane? Or did he step away?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Did you look at your ticket? Do you know what you have on your ticket?
So in total, I have 7 hearts.
7 hearts. Okay, so that's you then. And Moira, you have a crown or a king's crown.
I have some sort of crown, yes.
Yep. And Tisman has a single club. So it would appear that all of you have the symbol that she pulled from the parchment. And there are various attendants, several attendants from either side of the crowd as everyone pulls their tickets out and having a look. And you hear a lot of disappointed sort of moans as they realise it's not them. But if any of you hold up your ticket to say that you are one, the attendants will be either side to direct you to the stage.
Amoros holds up his hand with his ticket. I got the spades.
Excellent. And so the goat woman at the front will sort of see you with your hand up, and she'll sort of beckon you forward, and the attendants from either side will sort of steer you forward through the crowd and towards the steps at the front.
Staring at Amaros, I hold mine out, being small, trying to be like,
Amaros picks
I
her
have
up
a kid.
and holds her up so they're pretty much head to head sized, or head to head height, and says, "And she got the king."
Excellent. Galatea,
Yeah.
Eddie looks at his ticket and he sighs as he hasn't got the one. And then when he sees you looking at your ticket, he will just lean. I assume he's sort of like linked arms with you, and he'll just lean in and whisper and say to you, "Well, it seems ready or not, fate is steering you in a particular direction."
Oh, why? Okay. Gonna take his hand and squeeze it.
And he'll say, "Don't worry, I won't be going anywhere. I'll be watching."
Okay. I'm gonna hold up the ticket and awkwardly step a little bit further up.
And
forward.
any of the people around you, the crowd sort of split and see that you've got the ticket, and they allow you to go through. And an attendant from the side will sort of usher you forward along with everybody else who has a ticket to the front of the stage, where you'll find steps that lead up.
I hate this.
So, who is the first one to go up on the stage? Is the question. And Tisvan will also be directed up on the stage as well. He also has one, and Edneth will say that she'll also similar wait and wait in the crowd and wait for him to come back.
Gonna try and be not the first one.
Okay, so you just sort of slowly plod towards it, like, slow. It's difficult to get through the crowd.
I didn't need
Oh,
to
my
put
shoelace. Hang on.
These things. I'm just gonna stand and put away all the things that I've got on
Yeah.
me. And I just hold. I'm okay. Just.
And Bula and Kane.
I guess he'll look to Bula with sort of a questioning raise of the eyebrow.
She'll just show him her ticket, not really sure what to do with it. She's not quite caught on what the deal is with this.
Okay, I think he sees that, gives a nod of determination, and tries to sort of get both of them to go up at the same time.
I mean, they're still holding hands, so they could just hold hands walking up together.
Okay.
Exactly.
Are you joining Galatea on their side of the stage, or are you joining the others on the other side?
There's 6 of us, so we can make it balanced.
Excellent. So move you guys up to here as well. So the question is, who is first on the stage? Whoops, sorry.
Dib's not it.
Oh, so Bula, do you run up onto the stage?
I mean, she kind of drags Ken with her, but
Right.
yeah, they both go up together at the same time.
Okay, cool. So we'll say, Bula, you're there first because you're currently on the stage. And I'll move the others up as well. So you guys want to move yourselves up into the stage. And as you get on there, and you know this is Madame Katrina from the introduction she had earlier. And as you get on there, she will turn to you, Bula, and she'll say, welcome, young one. And what is your name?
I'm Bula.
Bula. What a lovely name. Please. And she holds out the deck of cards for you to take. and then she leans down and turns down to under the table, and she lifts up a very large white almirage and places it in front of her. An almirage is a basically a bunny that has a unicorn horn on its forehead, and she sits in front of her, and she says,
This is beautiful Mary.
and she runs her fingers through its thick fur of this white almirage, and she says,
Say hello, Mary.
and the bunny-like creature sits up on its hind legs, brings its paws up to its face, and just brushes its cheeks twice towards the crowd before sitting down again.
Now, my dear, if you would, fan out the cards, and Mary here will pick your fortune.
Ula's going to kind of like awkwardly fan them out. She's not the greatest at little tiny fiddly things.
Yeah.
Like that. So she kind of does it awkwardly and then pushes the cards towards the thing.
Yeah, so you
That's
fan them out,
doing.
and Madame Katrina will help you if you need it, but she gets you to fan the cards out so you can't see what the cards are. You just see the tops of them, but you fan them out in a way so that the almirage can see them from underneath. And the almirage sits there and looks at the cards, and then, quick as a flash, it thrusts its head forward, impaling one of the cards in the corner with its horn. Can you roll me a D100, please? $21. And the almirage has the card basically impaled, and it just sticks to their horn. And Katrina will say,
Now, my dear, Mary has chosen. Please, hand the deck to the next person, if you would.
She'll immediately give them to Kane.
okay.
He's almost anticipating that.
And so, yeah, again, she'll say,
And what is your name?
It's Kane Cradle.
Kane. A warrior's name.
and she will say again,
Please, fan out the cards for Mary to pick, if you would.
Kane fans them out so that they are perfectly symmetrical.
perfectly balanced. The almirage again takes a second to look at you, look at the cards, and then again within a split second just headbutts with its horn, piercing another card in the corner, and it now has 2 cards attached to its horn. And again, she asks you to please hand the cards to the next person.
Okay. Sort of seeing who is around me in terms of the positioning, I guess he will hand it over to Galatea.
Oh, sorry, I need to make you to make a D100 roll. Sorry, I forgot.
Ooh, okay.
$27. Okay, so Galatea, you've been handed the cards, and again, the goat lady will look up at you and say,
What is your name?
Gonna tense up and look towards Eddie for.
Eddie gives you a big thumbs up.
So awkward. Okay. Gonna tell her my name and do the card thing.
Okay, and the almirage will again stab one of the cards. This one barely missing your finger where you had them hid, but you managed to not take any damage from the from its horn as it sits there now with 3 cards. And she asks you,
Ah, Galatea, would you please be a dear and pass the cards to the next person?
Yeah, okay. Do I roll?
yes, please. Hey. And who are you handing the cards to?
Amaros.
Moros.
And what is your name, my handsome fellow?
The name is Amaras. Lovely to meet you.
Ah, pleasure. Please, would you hand the cards out for my Mary?
And Amaros places his hand on the cards and just swipe them out in a fan-like pattern.
And the bunny will look at you, look at the cards, and then look towards your pocket, but then hit one of the cards in your hand, and it'll have 4 cards. Can you please make me a D100 roll? $34. Interesting. These numbers are very close. Okay, lovely. And who will you pass your cards on to next?
Amaros is gonna hand it over to Moira and step to the side, as well as helping her up if the table is too tall.
Excellent. Yes, it probably would be. Yeah. And the goat woman to you, Moni, probably seems quite large. And now you're this close, you see, yes, quite how elderly she is. She's very face is sunken and very wrinkled, but still has the hint of beauty that she would have had when she was younger. And she says,
Ah, little one. And what is your name?
I look at her, I gulp, and say, Moira.
Moira. Ah, beautiful name. Please. Perhaps your friend may help you with a second hand if you find it difficult. But if you would hand the cards out, please, for me.
I fan out the cards.
okay. And the Almirage will instantly, without even thinking about it, jut forward and pull a card for you. And
That was quick. Okay.
And it will now have 5 cards on its own. Could you make me a D100 roll, please?
Yes, sir. Hold on, how did this thing work again?
You just click the number of dice. You need a 2d10. Oh, sorry, a d10 and a d. Well, we can do it either way. Okay. All right, and I would imagine you hold the next one out to Tisfan.
Yes.
Okay, and she will take the. She will ask Tisfan his name, and she will then ask him to do the same sort of thing. So, I will roll the dice for Tisfan to see what that they get. Okie dokie. Interesting. So, when Tisfan is finished, she will ask. Let me see what I've written down here. Now, she will ask for the remaining cards. So,
Now that Maria has drawn the cards, Madame Katrina will read your fortune. May I have the remaining cards back, dear?
and she will put her hand out to take the deck. Tisfan will have put them on the table. So who would hand the deck to her?
I picked them up and hand them to her.
Okay. So she takes the cards from your hand. And as she leans forward to take the cards, she gently but firmly takes your hand, turns it over, facing the palm up, studying the lines, tracing them with her finger.
Path. Blue. See here? A horn of grace.
Then after a few minutes, she looks up at you slowly, studying you carefully.
They will come for you. All of you.
Her square eyes seem to almost look through you and into your very soul. She suddenly bleats out loudly, covering her mouth.
Oh, my goodness. I must lay off the rhubarb tea. I'm so sorry, my dear. What was I saying?
You said they would come for us. Who would come for us?
The cards. I must read the cards. Mary, come here.
And as the Almirage hops along the table towards the woman, there is a sudden clap of thunder, crack of thunder from above, and a strong wind rips through the carnival. Bear with me 1 second while I adjust things.
Oh.
Thunderclash? This is a bad sign.
Ah! What is happening?
A classic carnival rain.
As the Almirage hops along the table towards the women, there is a sudden crack of thunder from above and a strong wind rips through the carnival. Tents begin fluttering aggressively and the sky above starts to fill with storm clouds. Another clap of thunder rings out. And across the sky before the heavens open and a heavy rain pours down. The crowd begins to break as families head to nearby tents looking for shelter.
We hate rain. We must get inside.
The goat woman attempts to move her chair, but she struggles to grip the wet wheels. The wind continues its forceful assault on the carnival, picking up smaller stalls, turning them over. Children start to cry as the balloons are stolen from their hands and candy is scattered across the ground. As you look out, you see the crowd scatter. You see Galati, if you look across, Eddie waving his hands, trying to direct people away, but also seeming to try and somehow, as if trying to catch the wind, trying to somehow control it or move it or attempting to stop it in some way, but with the wind blasting so ferociously and the rain pouring down and people bumping into him and colliding as they're trying to run for safety, it seems unaffected.
Can I,
Yes, go on.
can I try and cast Gust to go in the other direction of the wind to sort of attempt to stop it?
Yeah, you can. The gust, is that a cantrip or is that, which one is that?
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Cantrip, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can attempt to use that one as well. You know that cantrips are not very powerful compared to full spells, but you can use that. Yeah, you can try.
I don't really have anything else in stuff.
Yeah, no, but you can give it a try if you want.
Yeah, okay.
And so, what does that look like when you cast it?
As subtly as possible, which is probably not very. Somatic means you need movements, right? It's verbal and somatic.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll move my hands around very subtly and say the words I need to say. It's been a long time since I've been spoken to. And try and move my hands in the opposite direction of the wind.
Okay, so you try and cast. Remind me of what the gust cantrip does.
I seize the air and compel it to create one of the following effects. Either Oh, create a small blast of air capable of moving one object. And I haven't studied very well yet, so I'm not sure how
Okay.
much I can do.
So you can seize the air and compel it to create one of the following effects. So you can do a medium or a smaller creature that you choose must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed. You can create a small blast of air capable of moving one object that is neither held nor carried. And you can create a harmless sensory effect using the air. So you're going to do this small blast of air?
Small blast, yeah.
Okay. So you do that into the raging storm. Unfortunately, that puff of air seems to blow against the rain for a moment, and then the rain continues and the wind whips up at you again. Unfortunately, not strong enough to blast the wind away or back or anything. And as you're trying that, the rain continues to pour down, and the table and the stage that you're on becomes very, very slick. And the goat woman continues,
Mary, I must have Mary.
and the goat woman stretches out to grab the almirage, but scared by the thunder, Mary jumps from the table, runs around puddles, and starts darting and slides underneath the ornate purple tent.
Please,
Can Ambrose try to grab her?
The bunny before it moves. You can try, yeah, before she jumps. So give me a dexterity check at disadvantage because you're currently on a slick stage.
Just a dexterity check?
Dexterity acrobatics, yes.
I got it back. That actually makes it a little better. 16.
16? Okay, yeah. So you go to grab the rabbit, and you do get purchase on it as it goes through. But unfortunately, the fluff that this rabbit is made of, where you grab it, where you think how wide it is, it's actually the body of it is much further in. And now that it's wet, you try and grab it, it just slips just out of your hand, and then bolts off of the table and runs into the tent. The goat woman says again as the wind continues to howl, please. And she looks up, her voice kind of muffled from the wind and the rain beating down.
I must see the cards. I must know if she is.
And it's another strong wind blasts you all. It's all you can do now to control, to hold your footing on this stage as the wind and the rain relentlessly pours down on top of you. Can you all please make me a DC? I'm not going to tell you the DC is. Make me a strength save, please.
Ooh, that's a 0.
A 0.
I rolled a 1 and I have -1 to strength.
Oops.
All of
Okay.
us?
Yeah, everyone, please.
Strength saving throw.
Yes, please.
I can't seem to select my character to do my roll.
You need to
Yeah.
select the little character token at the top left of the screen first. If you can't select your character, if you can't, if you the two little select token icon, which is the 4 little corners of a square, you need to be on that one so that you can drag over your character and select them. If you're already selected on someone else, you need to just draw drag a little box somewhere else to deselect, and then you can select yours again.
Yeah, I still can't do it.
You can't.
I'm touching my token and mine only, but it's not coming up with the menu that normally comes up.
I'm just rolling from my stats in the D&D Beyond.
Okay, I don't know why that isn't coming up at the moment. So for the now, if you double click your character, you should have access to your abilities and things in there.
Okay, but how do I roll the saving throw?
So if you go double click on your character and it brings up your character sheet, you'll then have your your abilities. You click on that, and you should be able to then roll.
I wasn't sure where exactly I was supposed to click. I was clicking the number for the saving throw. I'm like, nothing is happening.
So you're doing a save at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you click on was it strength? Click on strength, and then it says, are you doing an ability check or a saving throw? Click on the word strength.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just wondering. I don't have any disadvantages on this or anything. So
No,
just
no one has
roll.
disadvantage at the moment. It's just a straight roll.
Wowzers.
Okay, so Amoros got was a fail. Galatea is a fail. Kane is a fail. Moira is a fail. So I guess that's everyone's failed apart from Tisfin so far, who I need to roll for. Who are we missing?
I still need to roll, but I can't figure out what I'm doing. I'm sorry.
All right, if you double click on your character,
Yeah, I've done that bit.
yeah, click on the word strength, where your abilities are,
Okay, and then saving throw.
and then
Okay.
saving throw. Yeah, that's it. Oh, do you make that roll with advantage?
Sorry, it's because I was holding down the button to speak. I'll roll
Ah,
it
okay.
again.
Yeah, no worries. You succeed. Okay, so everyone that failed, the wind picks up and slams against you with so much force, because of the stage being so slick with water, and the table being very difficult to hold onto. You lose purchase on what you're holding onto, and you are all picked up by the wind and thrown across the carnival. The only person who isn't is Bula. You managed to hold on, whether it's with your nails into the board or whether it's just your feet are planted. You managed to hang on. I will give you a roll, Bula, if you want to try and grab someone to stop them from flying away, if you want to. But you'll make that with disadvantage in the next strength save because you will have only one hand holding you, or you can let them fly.
Okay, I mean, I was already holding Ken's hand, so I suppose I'll see if I manage to keep hold of him.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do another strength check to see if you keep hold of him.
Would it be a saving throw or just a strength check?
Let's do a strength check this time.
Oh no!
Okay,
Aw.
so unfortunately, as the wind picks up, your hands have become wet from the rain as well. And whereas you were holding onto the hand as strong as you are, Kane's fingers slip from your hand. And those of you who are in the air, so 5 of you out of the 6 go flying up. The wind being so strong, it actually moves you off the stage. And let's see who goes in first. Let's say, let somebody roll me a d6. Galatea,
I'll
could
do
you?
it.
Oh, you do it, Moira? Okay, yeah, Moira. If you could do me a 6. I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I've picked who the people are depending on the number. We'll see who goes through the doorway first. 2. So that is you, Moira. Okay, so. So as the wind picks up and you basically get blown off your feet, Moira, you are the first one. You go flying through the air, being smaller and unable to grip hold of the table or the stage that you were on. You go flying up, and you go flying through the entranceway of this purple tent. And as you fly through, you immediately, as you're blown through the doorway of the tent, you slam your back into something hard, and there is a sudden sound of shattering glass as your vision suddenly begins to become tunnel-like and dark. The light from the tent's entrance begins to diminish, and I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Someone save the mouse.
Oh, nice. So, You don't go unconscious. However, your vision remains almost tunnel-like, and the light from this tent's entrance almost seems to sort of get further and further away as you sort of lay on the ground, slightly stunned. Or sorry, no, you're not laying on the ground. You're still being blown. This is also happening at the same moment. So you go throwing back, hit this something sharp behind you. There's a shattering, and then this light of the doorway seems to disappear off in the distance. While that is happening, everyone but Bula, you all go flying around in different directions and are whipped around in this area. Galatea, you probably see out the corner of your eye. Actually, give me a perception check to see if you notice this.
Okay.
Got to get into the mode of asking you to make rolls now because I'm so used to just going to the carnival events. Got to get back into that motion. 21, very good. So, Galatea, out the corner of your eye, you see Eddie, who is still continuing to try and somehow control it. You don't know what he's attempting to do. Perhaps it was something similar to you were doing. But he also gets knocked off his feet, and you see him get blown through the entrance to the main tent.
I'm gonna shout his name and try and move over towards him.
Okay, so currently you're being blown in the air, so you aren't able to move towards him per se, but you are coming back down to the ground again, so you will be in a moment. Okay, so we'll say this is roughly where you are at the moment, being blown around. Okay. Madame Katrina is still trying to. She seems to be slightly more secure because she's attached into whatever chair she is, which is heavier, and it seems to be. But even her chair now is rocking backwards and forwards, and she just continues to ask for Mary, as she's being completely rained on and unable to move her wheels to get out of the out from under the table. So now that you're also being blown around, I'd like you to make me another strength save. Actually, let's make this one. Let's make this a dexterity to see if you are able to to sort of maneuver your way in such a way to stop yourself from flying further, to like kind of land yourself. So maybe trying to turn yourself into the wind to try and get yourself down and get out of the wind current you're currently in. Everyone but Moira, please.
Am I able to like stand up, or am I just kind of out of it?
No, you're dead. No, no, you're at the moment you're not in the wind. So we'll do a roll for you in a minute.
Was it dexterity?
Yeah, dexterity save, please.
Do I need to roll just as well?
No, you need to make me another strength one in a minute. So Galatea fail, Kane fail.
I rolled on 18.
18? Okay, so you succeed. So you manage to twist yourself in such a way, or perhaps grab out, and you manage to land back on the platform where you are currently. But you will have to try and grab hold of it or at least you've landed on it, so you're now on the ground. But you'll have to try and hold on your next go. Bula? That is a fail for your strength this time. So unfortunately, you now get pulled up into the air, along with Galatea and Kane. I'll just move you up here so I remember that. And I need to make a roll for this one. So dexterity saving throw. That's a fail as well. Okay, so Tisfan is blown, following you, Moira. Follows you in. Where you see the light of the doorway for the tent, it suddenly gets blotted out for a moment, as something appears to go in front of the entrance, and you slowly start to see Tisfan flailing around, falling towards you. Amoros, you've landed. Okay, so Kane and Galatea, you also, because you failed, you now all are sucked into this tent. And Bula, you are up in the air, currently being blown around. Amoros, you are on the ground. Moira, could you please make me... could you please make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Okay.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so as you continue, you're actually being whipped around. The wind is blowing in through the doorway into this tent, and you seem to be being kept aloft. You seem to be sort of floating in place, as almost. You feel kind of a weightlessness, but you still hear the rain and the thunder from outside, but are unable to... Well, you just seem to be falling. You don't seem to be landing at any point, which is very unusual from being in this tent. And this tent is quite dark on the inside. You just see that sort of narrow light where the entrance is, which was partially blocked for a moment when you saw 3 figures come flying in after you. Okay, Amoros, could you please tell me what you would like to do? You see, Bula is sort of floating in the air currently, being whipped up by the wind. The old lady the goat lady is sitting in her chair, still trying to get out from under the desk. And all the other members of the team seem to have flown through the doorway into this tent.
Do I see the Amorai where it went?
The Amaraj went into the tent as well. It hopped down off the stage and went under the side of it into that tent earlier, before the wind and that picked up.
Okay, then he's gonna try to pretty much grab onto the planks and crawl along them as if he's climbing a ladder, but along the ground instead, to try to avoid being blown up into the air.
Okay, all right.
And
So
he's gonna try to get into the tent to make sure that the others are all right.
all right, no worries.
He's pretty sure that even if Bulla were to fall hard into the ground, it looks sturdy enough to be able to take a good hit.
Okay, so what's your movement speed?
It's 30 feet.
Okay, so with it being very slick and that, we'll say you have half movement because of that, but that, so 5, 10, 15, it'll get you to the entrance of there, but I will need you to make me a strength save again, please. It would be at disadvantage, but seeing as you're laying down and crawling, you can just make a straight roll.
Well, I'm gonna blame his fluffy or loose clothing for this, because that's another nat 1. Damn it!
Okay, so you put your hand out to try and pull yourself along, and being low to the ground, you feel like you're going to be able to withstand this, but you just get lifted up by a sudden gust of wind that blows you, flips you over on your back, and you just slide. And although you were trying to get there via crawling, you're actually blown through the doorway and into the tent as well. So you disappear off into this one. Bula, could you please make me a dexterity save, please? Okay, and that is a fail as well. So you get whipped in to this tent as well.
Am I aware of my surroundings? Sort of, at
So,
least.
as you are blown through the doorway of the tent, all of you immediately notice the silence. The loud wind that rated your ears and the cries of families is gone. In fact, you don't hear anything. There is an ominous silence and stillness around you. And that light that you can see for where the tent doorway is diminishes, seems to get smaller and smaller in your vision. And for a moment, you feel like you are floating in a dark void. Then, you hit the ground with a thud as the wind is knocked out of you, and you're just suddenly lying, and you can suddenly hear around you again.
Is everyone? Oh God! Oh no! Oh dear! Oh dear! Are you okay?
Eddie?
Roll call. Who is not hurt? Ow, that was a hard landing.
Dazed, you look up from your lying positions and see fractures of light amongst the dark sky. At first, you think perhaps it's torn cloth from the top of the tent, but you slowly realize that the fractures of light are gaps in a very dense tree canopy. Looking around, you find yourself laying in a thick, dark wood, shadowed by tall, looming oaks and gloomy reflections of deciduous flora. Strange noises from the trees emanate, surrounding like normal creatures, but just slightly not.
Is anyone hurt? Guys, are you here?
I think I'm here, Moira. Though I'm a little dizzy from the wind toss.
Gonna stumble to my feet and scream out for Eddie.
Okay. You scream out into the forest, and you hear somewhere in the distance the flapping of wings as nearby avian creatures seem to have been aroused from their quiet day or slumber, perhaps, and launch off into the sky. You also hear another sound that is almost a repeat or a mimicry of the cry that you let out, but eerily more animalistic. But you don't hear a response from Eddie or anyone else.
Kane.
Just gonna crumble down and shuffle over to one of the trees, trying to hide as much as possible.
Okay. The area that you were in
move over to Moira and try to calm her down, because she seems to be panicking.
Give me, as you're the first person to stand up, Galatea, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty good. So when you stand up and after you scream, you look around and you see this dense, dark wood around you. The trees, you're not quite sure if it's because of the light or whether the trees actually are this sort of tinted pinky purple color, but you know that the light above is much dimmer than it would normally be. You were at the evening time where in the carnival, but the sky has a twilight color and brightness to it. It's more difficult to see than normally would be in daylight, but it does cast some shadows from these trees, but it makes it much more difficult to see through the denseness. But this surrounding area seems to be a woodland that is very unfamiliar to you.
No. He's gonna huddle up into a little heap.
Okay. And did you say you went under one of the trees?
Yeah.
Okay. When you go over to one of the trees, one thing you will notice as well with that roll is that very close to that tree, as it goes thicker in, you will notice this very large briar that seems to sort of surround the immediate area. There's twisted black branches all sort of seem to intertwine, almost like a cords of a net, and they're covered in these bright pink fuchsia thorns that give off a sort of an eerie glow.
I'm gonna stop shuffling towards that and just curl up, hugging my knees to myself.
Okay.
Also frantically looking around. Would the trees look familiar in any way to me?
Give me an investigation. If you're going to study the trees or just from where you're sitting, have a look.
Just from where I'm sitting.
Okay, so just give me a perception check then.
Pew.
Pretty good, 21. Now, do you have any connection to the Feywild or anything? Are you a Fey creature at any time, or are you just in the mortal plane?
In the mortal plane, yes.
Okay. So looking at these trees, they appear to be normal types of trees. Very, very old, twisted, and oddly colored compared to what normal trees you would see every day in your own world. They almost have a sort of a pinkish, purplish tone to them, the leaves. Some more variants of blue. There are some greens, but much duller. It's almost as if this world's the hue and the saturation of it is different than what you're used to, your normal eyes. But it feels off. You can't quite place it. And as I say, the noises that you hear are typical woodland noises that you would be accustomed to, but just off, just not quite right somehow. You can't really place your finger on it.
But would it? I doubt they would resemble the trees from my backstory stuff.
No.
Okay. No. I need to go back. Home.
Amaros reaches out and gently hugs her and goes, "All right, let's take a minute, gather ourselves, and we'll see if we can figure out where we are, all right? Panic is not gonna get us anywhere."
I want to go home.
Ula and Kane, what are you doing?
Kane just shot upright as soon as he had his consciousness back. He saw that Bula was sort of looking in awe at the tops of the trees. He just ran straight up to her, grabbed her by the shoulders, and just said, "Bula, are you okay?"
Oh, I'm fine. you?
Ah, thank God. I was worried for a minute there when I slipped from your hand.
Oh, that did scare me too, but I think we're okay.
Well, neither of us seems to be injured. We have that at least. And I think he'll look out over the group, the ones that are still close at least, and just say, does anyone need medical attention?
I'm fine. What about the rest of you?
I'm gonna look up at them all and shake my head slightly.
And I suppose when Kane hears that everyone seems to at least be in fairly decent health, he'll allow himself to relax a little, and just look up at the canopy like Buller is, and just say very quietly, where are we?
I have no idea, but I like it.
Don't think we're in Daggerford anymore.
It would seem that way.
Kane, could you give me a perception check, please?
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay. As you look around and as you ask if people are okay, if anyone needs any healing, you stare around at this unfamiliar wooded area. And as you look towards the north, standing 5-10 feet beyond the bush, about here, you see for a moment the glimmer of a suited knight. And for an instant you see it standing there beyond the bush. And then it walks back and fades away.
Kane goes to say something, goes to hold out a hand to hail the figure, but when he sees it disappear back into the overgrowth, he turns back to the group with a worried look in his eyes, and says, well, either we have been expected or someone has stumbled upon us. Either way, it would seem we're not alone.
Hearing this, Bula's finally going to get up and she's going to be like scanning the area very aggressively now.
Okay, so do you want to give me a perception check as well, or an investigation?
I'm just trying to find it, sorry.
All right. I'll have to. I can't remember which module it is that has those buttons for your characters. I don't know why it's not displaying, but I'll try and figure it out next time.
What was I rolling again? Sorry, I'll do it beyond.
If you're just having a general look around perception, but if you're actually studying the area and you're sort of investigating, then I would say it's an investigating roll. Okay, so you look around the area. Did you didn't mention the knight or anything, did you, Kane?
No. He sort of almost didn't clock what the figure was, and it's only now sort of washing over him. And you guys would probably see him like becoming more and more tense and nervous.
So when you look around, Bula, you see, similar to others, the sort of the woods around you, and you see this thick briar sort of deeper within the forest itself. And it seems to be most of the way around through this area. It sort of snakes its way through these trees. And then as you're looking around, you notice on the floor, heading north of where you currently are, what looks to be several pieces of parchment, perhaps something on the floor that sort of trails off to one of the bushes here.
She's going to follow the parchment, picking it up as she goes.
Cool. And as you get to them, you realize that these aren't pieces of parchment. They are several playing cards with holes in them.
Uh-oh.
6 cards, to be precise, leading up to that bush.
I mean, she's not very smart, but I think she's gonna put 2 and 2 together and see if there's anything in the bush.
Yep. Give me another investigation. So you have a quick look in the bush. It's quite dense, and you can't see through to the middle of it. But you don't find the Almirage. If I assume that's what you were looking for.
Yeah.
You do see slight bits of the white fluff caught on little branches, but the Almirage itself doesn't seem to be there.
Okay. Then she's just gonna walk back.
Can you, before you walk back, can you give me a perception check, please? Okay. So you look in the bush and you don't really sort of notice much, and you're about to turn around and go back when you catch a unpleasant smell on the air. It's the vile scent of death. And when you look sort of in the direction where that scent is coming from, you will see about 20 or so feet down a path the other side of this bush, there appears to be a large bear laying on the ground, partly covered by a torn blanket or some sort of material, motionless on the ground. And leering over the bear, you will see a nightmarish creature with bright purple skin, long pointed claws, and wearing what looks like tattered armor. And there also seem to be 2 more of these creatures, but laying unmoving on the ground.
She is going to grab her quarterstaff and very cautiously step back towards Kane to alert him to the things in front of us.
Okay.
Kane? We might have a problem.
Kane is kind of he's kind of whispering to himself under his breath until he hears your voice and sees you ready to use your weapon, and his eyes immediately snap back and focus. What is it? Is it something hostile?
I mean, there's dead things and there's alive things, and I don't trust the alive things.
Kane draws his own quarterstaff, readies his shield, and sort of looks to the others, showing that he's ready for something to potentially come out and be hostile towards us.
Altia is going to stand up, looking sort of emotionless, dusting themselves off and taking in the surroundings.
Do you have any idea what we're up against? Amaros says to Kane.
Moira is gonna sniffle, wipe off any tears, and also direct her attention towards the direction of the things.
Kane is going to look to Amaros and say, apparently something that's capable of killing, and probably killing us too by the sounds of it, unless we're ready.
I'm not good up close, but I know a bit of magic. That's probably the best I can offer on this.
It's okay. Stay behind me.
Okay. So, are you going to be approaching them?
Seeing that everyone seems to have readied up after she's been watching the area to make sure they don't get closer, Boola's going to just kind of nod at everyone, like we ready to do this thing, and wait to see if everyone nods back.
Gonna try and see if I can see what Boola's spotted.
Okay. Are you going to go closer, or are you from where you currently are?
Yeah, just gonna move in a little.
Okay. You can see, because you're slightly behind the bushes, you can't quite get a good visual from where you currently are through. But you know roughly in the direction that Bula was saying that she saw the creatures.
Gonna nod to Bula and look at the others. Can I ready a spell? Or whenever?
Yeah. Essentially, at this point, Bula, you will know that whatever is ahead of you has not noticed you, because you are behind these bushes currently. You would assume that you haven't been noticed by them. So if you act soon, you may be able to get the jump on whatever this thing is.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for I guess technically 2 more nods, and then I'm gonna do something.
Okay.
Kane is already making his way up besides Bula, his own quarterstaff at the ready.
Amros is gonna hold one spell ready in his hand. Well, pretty much keeping an eye out on pretty much anything at this point, because he's not entirely sure where the foe in question is, just that it's somewhere ahead.
Cool. Knowing that everyone is seemingly ready, she is just going to charge up to them like. She's
Okay. Are you going to get to the edge of the bush first before you charge out, or are you just going to run straight from where you are?
Yeah, no, I'll get to the bush, wait for everyone to be behind me, knowing that they're all ready, and then she's just going to suddenly charge at them.
Okay.
There will be no hesitation. Everyone will probably be jump scared at first at the sudden rushing of her.
Okay, I'm going to move you all up to that point there so that we can proceed. So, while you are there, all prepared, chatting just by the bush there, before Bule that you decide to run forward, from that distance there where they hasn't been noticed, you hear the creature that was sort of picking at the bear on the ground. From this distance, you'll be able to hear them saying,
So hungry.
It says, hissing around its long, slavering tongue.
Eat you first, beast man. Then we find your friends.
And then the creature begins ripping and tearing at the bear. And you're gonna run in?
Yeah, I'm literally just gonna like charge at this thing.
Okay. So what is your movement speed?
30 feet.
30 feet. Right, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That will get you to about here. Unless you want to use your action to get up close to it, but then do you have a bonus action to attack, or are you gonna?
Let me double check.
I don't think you have any bonus actions.
I don't think I have any bonus.
No.
Yeah.
So if you can either run there, or you can use your action to get up close to it, but you won't be able to attack then. So unless you have a ranged attack that you can do, you can throw weapons if you have a weapon that can be thrown. You've got a javelin. Allows you to add a proficiency bonus to the attack roll, so that would be a dexterity roll, I believe, to use that. You could try and throw that at it. You probably could actually be further away if you wanted to throw it from a distance, or from where you currently are is fine as well. Goes between 30 and 120 feet.
I mean, she only pulled out her
Quarterstaff.
her main
Okay.
weapon. So.
Okay. So do you want to stay where you are then and wait to attack on the next turn, or do you want to use all of your movement and your action to get right up close to it?
I'll use the whole action to get out close.
Okay, cool. So you run straight up to it, and you can tell at this point as you run up to it that the two on the floor are definitely dead. They look like they have been ripped to pieces by large claws. So you would assume that this bear didn't go down without a fight.
Cool, that's fine.
So we'll move you move you up there. Okay, who is going next? So we won't be in initiative at the moment because you've got this sort of surprise round. So you can each go in turn, and then we'll roll for initiative. Come on, guys, let's get going. Let's someone make a decision.
Right, I'll charge ahead then.
Cool.
Especially if it's Bula. Okay, so my movement speed is only 30 feet. I will have a quick gander at my spells to see if there's anything that's a bonus action. Yes. So I will dash as my action, getting me 35. I'll move myself. Can I stand where this corpse is?
You can't take up the same area. I don't think the game will allow you to go there. I might be able to move you there though. Seeing as it's a corpse, I'll let you stand above it. You wouldn't normally be able to, but
oh,
there you go.
I've gone too
Hi,
far.
gang.
There you go.
Kate went flying.
Yeah, seeing as it's on the ground dead, I'll let you stand over the body if you want.
The corpse dropped a banana peel. So I will, as a bonus action, let me see if I can figure out how to do this in time for you.
Yeah.
Do I just click on it?
So you double click on yourself, go to your spell book, I guess. Click on Shillelagh. Is that the one you're using?
That is indeed the one I'm going to use.
You should be able to. I think you click on the actual dice itself, maybe. Oh yeah, I clicked on it and it came up in the chat menu, and then you can use it to either attack or damage. This is just the die becomes a D8. Yeah, so they're just affect. You don't attacking with it at the moment, are you?
No.
You're just turning it on. So yeah, you cast Shillelagh on your. What are you using it on?
My quarterstaff.
Quarterstaff. Okay, cool. Yeah. So do you have any special effect that happens when you cast Shillelagh?
So I have Spell Sniper, which doubles the range, but I'm holding the quarterstaff, so I don't need to.
Right. Okay. So when you cast Shillelagh, it doesn't have any magic, nothing visual that you can see.
I suppose the quarterstaff seems to glow with. One end seems to be a sort of a bright white light, and the other end of the quarterstaff seems to have this sort of a black shadow wrap around it.
Right. And when you usually cast this, that's exactly how it looks. However, when you cast it this time, you notice that the white and the black ends, they give off that glow, but also the white end seems to have little white sort of butterflies, almost like almost elusive, sort of like flutter off and sort of like flickering of flames, sort of burn off like this, but just like tiny little butterflies or moths. The other end, the black end, you see what looks like almost like shadowy faces, almost similar to even this creature that you see. Just every now and again you see the sort of embers flick up and then make a grotesque face and then disappear again. And that's not normal.
Kane tries very hard to ignore the worrying magical effect so that he can try and fight this thing.
Okay. All right, who's next?
Me, please.
Yep.
I'm gonna rush in as Bula does. Making hand gestures as I go.
Okay.
How far can I go? Is it 30 feet?
That's your standard move? Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what are you going to do for action and bonus?
And I'm gonna shout out, "Where is he?" And cast Thunderclap.
Thunderclap. Okay, cool. Let me have a look at that. So you create a burst of thunderous sound that can be heard up to 100 feet away. Each creature within range, other than you, must succeed a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 thunder damage. So, everyone within 100 feet of Galatea needs to make
Oh, no,
a Constitution saving throw.
range.
it said 15-foot cube originating from me.
Yeah.
So just 15 foot from me.
Oh, just 15 foot view. Okay, sorry. Yes, sorry. It's heard 100 feet away. Sorry, I misread that. So 15 feet cube. 5, 10, 15. So that would just be Kane then? No, and Bula. 5, 10, 15. 5, 10, 15. So, because it's 3 squares in all directions in a cube around you, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh.
15 feet cube, or is that 50? No, 5, 10, 15. So essentially it's either, yeah, so 15 feet cube would be just the immediately around you, because it would be 15 across, wouldn't it? So 5 either side and 5 in the middle where you're standing.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I misunderstood that. I thought it was sort of in front of me. But
I think that's how it works. Hang on 1 second. Okay, yeah, so if I
according to the measure thingy, the creature is within 15
yeah,
feet.
within 15 feet if it's in front of me, but if it's with me in the middle of it, then it's 5 feet to either side.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think if it says, let me go back again. So
Can't rush up any further.
yeah, you create a burst of thunderous sound that can be heard from each creature within range, other than you. Must use a concentration saving throw. It doesn't say here that it's centered on you, though, does it?
It just says originating from me.
Are you looking on D&D Beyond, or are you looking on this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. D&D Beyond probably has more information than I'm looking at, so that's fun. Let me just double check on there. I haven't used this spell before.
Sweeps out from you. Each creature within in a 15-foot cube originating from you must make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, it says range area 5 foot. So yeah, so it's 5 foot all the way around you. So currently where you are, it wouldn't hit anything then.
Never mind.
Each creature within range with you. Situation. So.
Just gonna rush up and shout then.
See, yeah, okay, cool. So did you want to use your action to run up closer, or do you want to stay at that distance?
Yeah, I'll run up closer.
Okay. So you can basically double your movement. So that's your currently 30, so you can run up to it and the other side if you want to, as long as you stay within its range, so you don't get attack of opportunity.
Yeah. I'll go there.
A lot of you have spells that I've never used before, so that's why I gotta look at this one, because I've never used this thunderclap.
I have maybe played a caster once for 1 sessions.
So yeah, ironically, this one is just a semantic component, but it makes a loud noise for 100 feet. So it doesn't matter if you don't say anything; someone's going to hear it. But you don't cast it on this turn because, you're not quite near enough. So you run to there. Who next would like to go? I'm going to say that Tisfan runs up next, just to get them into the game and make sure that they're doing something. So they got 30 foot of movement. Let's have a little look. They've got nothing in their spell book. What does this do? Okay, so as a bonus, he can use Blessing of the Raven Queen. As a bonus action, you can teleport up to 30 feet, so an unoccupied space you can see 2 times per long rest. So, let's say that, I don't know if they would use it in this instance or not. I suppose probably, because this is going to be an attack. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 30. So they're going to use one of their teleports to get to there. And then they're going to use their movement to, let's say, run this side, where they can get an attack. And they are going to use... Has he not got any... Here we go. Let's see. What has he got? I guess they would use his longsword. He's also got a glaive. Glaive allows you to add proficiency. Now, I think the glaive allows you to attack at distance, doesn't it?
It has reach, so...
Yeah, so he'd be able to stand, actually.
It's not a throw, but it's reaching further.
Yeah, so I think the glaive has... Let me look at this on D&D Beyond, because it's got more information on it again. Let me just do that. Bear with me 1 second. Yes, it's got reach. Two-handed reach. Slashing... Yeah, 10 feet reach. Okay, so he's going to teleport to there. Then he's going to run over here, but he's going to stand 10 feet away so that the other thing can't get an attack on him. And he's going to use his glaive, with two-handed glaive, to attack. And he rolls a 12, which is the armor class. So he gets a hit on that, and let's roll for damage. And 6 points of slashing damage as he brings the glaive down into this ghoulish creature. Okay, he makes a good slash against this creature, wounding it. Who is next? Amaros or Moira?
I can go next.
All right.
I'm gonna run. Hold on, just a little bit. I'm gonna run over here. And then double check the distance. Nope, not enough. There. And I am gonna cast Bless on Tisvin, Bula, and Kane.
Okay. So, go on.
You bless up to 3 creatures of your choice within range. Whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw. And the duration is its concentration up to 1 minute.
Okay, perfect. So whenever you take an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends, I can roll an additional d4. So mark down that you can add a d4 to whichever your roll is that you're doing. Awesome. So Amaros.
Amaros is pretty much gonna go, Iralai, lend me strength for this, please. And he's gonna run up here, and he's gonna aim an Eldritch Blast at the creature.
Okay, go for it.
Did that even show up on the map? I don't think it did.
I didn't see anything, and nothing's in the chat log.
Because that was a nat 20, damn it. Why didn't it roll here? Okay,
Where did you roll it?
I rolled it on D&D Beyond. I thought it would roll.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't come up on here on D&D Beyond. I don't think at the moment.
Let me try.
I think you need a third-party app thing on the browser for it to do that anyway, I think. So I don't know if you've got that installed, but...
Yeah, I'm just trying to see how do I roll for Eldritch Blast in
So-
this.
Double click on your character.
Yep,
Go to Spellbook.
yep,
Click on Eldritch Blast.
yep.
And then once you've clicked on that, the actual image, I think it is, it should pop up in the chat to the right there, and you can
There we go.
use the chat there, use the attack. Oh dear.
That was the opposite
That
of
was the
what I rolled.
opposite of what you rolled.
Damn it.
Oh no.
Oh,
So
not 20 to a nat one. God damn.
so you do fire, but in your distress of being in this strange place and unfamiliar area, and with a hideous creature, in front of you, you unfortunately, send the bolt slightly wide, and it goes firing off into one of the tree trunks of the trees surrounding you. Do you have a bonus action or anything?
And not that I'm aware of. So, next player.
Okay. All right. Now that the surprise round is over, we will now roll for initiative. So, if you double click on your character, and then you go to your attributes, you can do it from the top. There's initiative to the far right at the top. Click on the word initiative, and you should be able to roll. Oh, hang on. Let me just start a combat encounter. Otherwise, you can't do it anyway. Okay, combat encounter has started.
Oh. Which one was I? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll log it for you there.
Wait, what? Help.
Double click on your character.
Yep.
At the top, go to all the way to the right. You'll see it says initiative.
Ah.
Oh, very good. I'm trying to work out how to do it for my ghoul because I don't have the initiative thing for this. So I guess what I'll do is I'll do it this way instead. Oh, it was nearly a natural one, but then it went to a 30. That's good. Okay, 15 for the ghoul. All right. Time to start the battle. Okay, Moira. You were the first one to act after the initial attack. The ghoul was completely caught off guard as 6 individuals come running out of the forest. Most run up to it within range. One, the Shadowkai, coming up and slicing into it with his glaive. Moira, what do you do now?
Oh dear. I shall once again cast. I shall cast Sacred Flame. Hold, how did this? I mean, do I double click it or?
Double click your character.
Yeah, but the spell.
Click-
double click the
Click
spell,
the
or-
click the image, the icon, and then it will appear in the chat message log, and then you can click on there. So, flame like radiance descends from the creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 damage, radiant damage. So your saving throw is a 12. So it is going to make a dexterity saving throw. Oh, I got a nat 1. So you slam this thing with your Sacred Flame, right? Roll for damage. Completely caught unawares by being surrounded by all these individuals. He doesn't see a Sacred Flame flying down from above. And it is hit with 3 points of burning damage.
Does that not get any pluses?
It's 1d8 of radiant damage. So you roll the d8. That's it. There's no additional to that.
Okay.
You do at higher levels, you get more.
So because my modifier is +2. But
That's for your.
that's not.
No, that's for your attacks and things as well. When you do that, it doesn't get added to that.
Okay,
It's just a d8 for that one.
Okay.
But yeah, you do 3 points of damage. Now your sacred flame, flame-like radiance descends from the sky. So normally your sacred flame that comes down would be what kind of color? How would it appear?
Oh dear. Probably. I'm trying to think because I'm a nature cleric.
Yep.
So what with that? And because it's sacred flame, I'd say the color of the sun.
Okay, so a sort of a golden light, pale golden light, would come down from the heavens and scorch your target.
Yes.
However, this time when it comes down, the flame that comes down is much slower, more gradual than you normally have. It seems almost sort of slowed, as if it's being caught in some sort of invisible net as it sort of falls down from the sky. And instead of being the golden color it normally is, it has this almost violet blue color to it, and much fainter than it would normally be. And it still falls on and burns this creature, but it doesn't seem to have the potency that it would have normally had when you cast it before.
I look at it and, clutching my holy symbol, I whisper into the air, "Wild Mother, help us."
Okay. Anything else you want to do? Any bonus actions or anything?
I got nothing.
Okay. All right. So, next in line, Galatea.
Yeah.
You screamed in this creature's face.
Yeah. Where is he? I'm gonna cast thunder.
Okay, you're going to cast Thunderclap this time. Go for it.
Is there just one?
Yes, the one that is on the floor seems to have very large slash wounds in its side and be dead. There's only that one in the front of you currently.
How do I cast it?
So double click on your character,
Yeah.
go to the spellbook, click on the icon for Thunderclap, and it should appear in the chat.
Ah, there. I clicked on the name, not the.
Yeah, that's fine. So create the burst. Each creature within range other than you must. I've got to succeed on a Constitution saving throw. Okay, so let me see if he can do a Constitution saving throw. Which is not high enough because I needed 11. So you can do your damage. Ooh. 5 points of damage. So you create a thunderous sound that rings out. And let's see. There. Okay, this ghoul is not looking very good. That ringing that goes out and slams into it, that sound echoes out, and you hear it echo out, and even the trees begin to sway as this thunder wave, just sort of thunderous sound, just echoes out for 100 feet. Those of you in close proximity don't take any damage, but you certainly have ringing ears when this thing goes off. And you are still kind of new to these spells going off, so you haven't really probably got as much experience of what they're like.
No.
You did cast it once before, I think.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, again, you haven't got as much experience with it. This time when it goes off, it sounds similar as a big thunder wave, but the sound itself as it dissipates has a sort of an eerie kind of almost like a scream to it. As it dissipates off, it sounds more like a scream than thunderous
Mm.
clap.
I will be hearing none of that. I'd say at this point, having been jostled around in all the stormy stuff, and my sort of hair tie has come a little bit loose, and as I cast a spell, it just goes, and my hair sort of floats around above my head.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to do? Okay. It's now the ghoul's turn. Okay. Just double check something. Okay. It is going to seeing as you shout out this screaming sound comes out and echoes around it. It was looking at Bula, running towards it. But as they haven't got to you in time, it turns its attention to you, Galatea.
Yep.
And it sends out one of its long purple pointed claws towards you and tries to take a slash at you. Does an 8 hit you?
I don't think so. Oh. What is it against? Armor class, yeah?
Yes.
No.
It doesn't. Okay, so it swings out with its arm and what are you currently wearing?
Just my clothes.
Just like traveling clothes and things?
Yeah.
Okay, so it goes for you, but your billowing clothes basically confuse it, and it swipes where it thinks your body is, and it does slash down, probably catching a slight side of your clothes, maybe making a slight tear, but it doesn't hit you and it misses. Enraged by this, it then tries to launch forward and tries to bite you. Gets a natural 1, and so it launches itself, but again, whether you effortlessly stand to one side or whether it just injured by the sound with it ringing its ears, it seems to be slightly off balance, but it lunges forward, snapping its horrible, disgusting, twisted fang-like teeth towards you to try and sink into your flesh, but just misses, biting nothing but air, crunching its teeth against themselves. And that's all it can do. Amoros.
Amoros is gonna take a deep breath and try again. Because this is the spell he's most confident in.
Go for it. Yay! That's definitely going to hit.
Alright, so let's see if we can do some damage on this.
$11 points. Jesus. Is it two on a hit? Target takes 1d10 force damage. Spell creates more than one beam when you reach higher levels, so it should only be 1.
Strange. Wait, it said it did a crit. What?
Yeah, you might have pressed the wrong button. Roll again. You have the option when you press the buttons on it. You can do a crit attack or you can do a normal one. Okay,
Yeah,
5 points. There we go.
I'll do.
That's better. I was going to say, Jesus, that's for level 1 attack. That's a pretty big one. Okay.
I mean, if he were to hit me, he would get it back. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it slams. And what does your Eldritch Blast look like? So it's a beam of crackling energy, isn't it? Does it have a particular color or look to it?
Yes, it comes out in a bright white beam with a blue outline to it that kind of takes the shape of a serpentine dragon as it travels through and slams into its foes.
Okay. So when you send out this beam, you notice that although the core of this electric streak is still white. There's a kind of almost a sort of a dark purplish glow on the outside of it, and rather than the sort of more draconic shape that normally comes out, it seems to be more serpentine, serpent-like rather than dragon, and it winds its way through the air towards this creature, slamming into the side of it, and doing damage, but perhaps not as much damage as you hope.
And that would be all from my end.
Okie dokie. So let's have a look. Who do we have next? Kane.
Okay. I will make my way around to this creature. I think I'm gonna circle around Bula and go here if I can.
Yeah, sure.
And then I will attempt to bring my quarterstaff down on the thing's head.
Go for it.
Okay. You might have to bear with me here for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
While I find it.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I like that. I like the GIF, Luna. Yeah, let's say that. Let's see that the snake, the serpent thing is actually a skeletal one.
Oh, nice.
That actually works quite well.
Perfect.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Would I have flanking from Galatea?
No, because you need to be directly opposite. So you're
Directly
off to one.
opposite.
Yeah, it has to be directly above and below or side to side. You're at an angle.
Yep, no problem. Just a normal roll then.
Yep.
Okay.
That will hit.
17. I don't know if it has stacked on the damage from me using Shillelagh.
So Shillelagh gives you. One second. It increases the dice, doesn't it? Hang on. Or does it do additional
yeah.
damage?
It becomes a D8 and counts as a magical weapon.
Yeah. So you would roll a D8 plus 3 instead of a D6. And it's magical only it comes into effect the fact that if a creature had a resistance to non-magical, then we would say, it would still go through. Otherwise, it would be half the normal damage. So for this creature, it doesn't matter. It doesn't whether it's magic or not, it'll still hit. So just roll a D8 plus 3 this time.
No problem.
We got 8. Lovely. So which end are you hitting it with? The dark end or the light end?
Still trying his best to ignore the distracting magical effects. I suppose he will use the light end because it's the one that he currently has raised.
Awesome. So you spin it round and slam it in the top of the head?
Yeah.
Slam it in the top of the head with the white end. As it makes contact with this creature, it lets out a horrible shrieking cry as you feel the impact crack its skull from the inside. And when the white end hits, the little puff of butterflies emanates from it as it strikes. This creature is now looking very, very badly injured to the point of on its last legs. Anything else you'd like to do?
I will close off my turn by looking it in the eyes and saying, Argentol, abjure thee.
Excellent. And Bula, thankfully this creature didn't get killed before you, even though you were the first person to run up to it. You're still alive, so please take your turn.
We're finally coming full circle.
Oh, Bula.
What would you like to do? What are you going to use? Are you going to use your magic wand?
Yes, I am using my delightful magic wand that is a quarterstaff, and I'm going to try and hit him, but I can't find the thing.
So double click on your character, go to inventory.
Ah, I found it. Ah,
There it is. And then click on the image. I will try and work out how to get those buttons back that are now missing because they would be in the world. So do your attack. You can use it versatile if you're going to use your for when you do damage. If you use 2 hands, but the attack is just more made normally. So click attack first to see if you hit. Yep, you hit it. And so if you want to use 2 hands, click versatile.
Okay, so I want to ask a technical question
Yep.
before I do that. Does it count as a light weapon?
Your quarterstaff, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Let me just have a quick look. Light weapons are generally like daggers and things like that.
Yeah.
Quarterstaff, no. Simple and versatile, not light. So 6 points of damage. So, where are you going to hit this thing? On the head as well?
I'm actually gonna go for, you know, that like joining place between the neck and the shoulder,
Yep.
like that little crux bit there.
Okay. So, as you raise your quarterstaff up, having seen the others manage to get in their attacks, slicing, blasting it, hitting it with bolts of energy, you see Kane smash this thing on the head with his staff, cracking. You hear the audible crack on the skull, and you twirl your magic wand round. What do you shout when you cast your magic spell? Or do you not say anything?
For this one, I am just as I smack it down.
You cut out for a second there. What did you say?
Oh no! So like as I'm smacking it down, it's literally just.
Okay, perfect. So you raise it up and you bring this quarterstaff down, expertly aiming and smacking it right between the shoulder and the head in the neck there, and you hear this almighty crack as the creature's head rolls. Oh, did I do the right one? Oh god, I'm killing Bula. Sorry, Bula. I was clicking on you instead of the other creature. As you hear this almighty crack, the head of this creature limply falls to one side as it falls dead into the dirt.
She's just gonna gently prod it with her quarterstaff. Like, even though she heard it die, she's just gonna, you know, like the double tap check with not an actual attack, but just like tapping it with the quarterstaff. Like, are you really dead? Little nudge.
You prod this creature, and its head just loosely flops around. Nothing holding it now onto the body, and apart from the skin, it is 100% dead. And you stand there, three of these ghoulish creatures dead, and the brown bear laying on the floor.
We are out of initiative.
We are now out of initiative. Yep, you've completed the combat. Congratulations. First combat down.
Woo! Moira is gonna run up a little bit and oh wait, I didn't do that correctly. There. And look at Galatea and ask, "Are you hurt? Are you hurt?"
You know, just numbly look down at Moira, and then down at myself, shaking my head a little, and then look around to see if there's anyone else there.
Okay, give me a perception check to see if you can see anybody else. Okay, so you look around the immediate area. You don't see anything else. No other creatures. The regular noises that we heard before of woodland creatures and things, but nothing else currently.
He's not here, is he? I'm just gonna stand, look at the others without any expression at all.
One thing you do notice when you're having a look around, with that particular roll, the bear on the ground has a large festering wound across its belly. It looks like perhaps it could be some sort of poison, but the slash marks across its face confirm that the creature has been mortally wounded by the creatures that have surrounded it.
Oh, does it still look like it's alive, or?
No, it's definitely dead.
Oh, okay.
Strangely though, its fur is whereas it looked like a sort of a dark color, like a black bear or something. When now that you're close to it, it seems to have sort of a dark bluish purplish color to the fur, and it has quite bushy eyebrows, very sort of unusual for a bear. It almost has sort of a not human look to it, but it looks more like almost like a caricature, I suppose. Like it has a character to it rather than just a regular bear. And you realize that now that you're up close to it, that it wasn't a torn blanket that was actually across the creature, but it's actually a long brown cloak that the bear is actually wearing. And to the side by the tree, there is a wide-brimmed hat that lays a couple of feet away on the floor. And yeah.
What's with the bear?
Could I do some kind of check on the corpse of the bear?
Yeah. What are you doing? Like a medicine check? You investigating it, searching it? What are you doing?
As much as I'm not very well versed in it, I'll probably attempt a nature check.
Okay.
Just to see if this is a natural bear, I suppose.
Yep.
Is this a natural bear?
It's artificial.
It's an artificial. It's stuffed.
It
Well,
is
that's
a
not bad for
bit
me.
better.
Yeah, so you have a look at it. As far as you're aware, its anatomy is that of a regular bear. However, it does seem to have more of a its hind legs seem to be maybe slightly more elongated. Perhaps it would be bipedal if it was able to stand maybe on its hind legs and walk. And the cloak it is wearing suggests, and assuming the cloak and the hat belong to this creature, that perhaps it would walk rather than be down on all fours like a regular bear. The legs are definitely different than a regular bear, but it seems to be, for all intents and purposes, a bear creature, not a something else.
Okay. I suppose I'll relay that information to the group. Well, it seems very similar to a normal bear, but there's something off about it.
Speaking of off, did anyone else feel like their magic was different? And Ambrose just looks around to the rest of us who are able to cast magic.
Yeah, that was odd.
I don't know. I've never really just trails off, hair still floating around. Oh, where? Where are we?
I don't know.
Someone else go?
Tisvan is going to check the body of the bear. They're going to see if they have anything else on them. And he finds that the bear itself has, round its waist, when he moves the cloak, there is a messenger bag around the bear's waist, which he unclips and then holds out to one of the party members, perhaps Moira, to have a look at while he looks at the wound.
I take it.
Okay.
Well, what is it?
It's a messenger bag.
Oh. I guess I'm gonna go through it.
Okay. As you open the top of the satchel, it flops open, and inside you find 5 bright pink berries, 10 gold pieces, and an envelope with a wax seal with the letter L imprinted into it.
Okay.
Yay, we're rich in a place that probably doesn't use money.
I am not sure what to do with this stuff. There's a couple of funky looking berries. There's gold and an envelope that is sealed and unopened. I do not feel comfortable opening it.
I'm gonna walk off. Sorry.
I suppose Kane would offer his hand and say, well, if someone's got to open it to find out where we are and what happened to this bear, it might as well be me.
Lula's gonna look at him and go, no, me. I insist.
Well, alright, but only if you'll let me stay close when you do it.
Okay.
I offer the envelope.
Okay. And so, Bula, you're going to open the envelope?
I am indeed.
Okay.
May I investigate and see if I can find any details on the bag itself?
Sure, yeah.
I'm just gonna full on give the bag to Amaros.
I don't know if it came up on your screen, Bula, but I assigned you a handout. It should be in your journal entries now. So do you want to give me an investigation, Amaros?
Sure.
It's a reasonably well-worn leather satchel. Still seems in serviceable condition. But other than that, there's nothing particularly that stands out about it.
Can't seem to find anything standing out about this. No emblem nor name tag or anything in this. But I'm afraid the bag won't give us many clues.
Did you get the handout, Abula?
Sorry, I forgot that I have to press the button. I did, yeah, I'm reading it now.
Okay, cool. And Galatea, as you wander down the pathway, continuing, you don't have to make a perception check for this. Your passive perception were are reasonably heightened anyway. But as you continue to walk, you start to hear a howling shriek echo somewhere in the trees. Distant, but answered by another shriek. And then another. And then many. All sounding to draw closer as the sound reverberates in the shadowy trees. And that's where we'll end it tonight.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
Oh, cliffhanger ending.
No.
It's the ones we die the most about.
Then the shrieks, by the way, sounded very similar to the creature that you just killed.
Uh-oh.
Yay!
But yes, congratulations. First combat down, and you have now finally entered a different world, perhaps. Who knows? But I hope you enjoyed yourselves.
I'm so
Oh,
upset.
yeah.
So upset.
I'll
Well,
say though, from a combat perspective, I'm a little salty that I didn't get to use the nat 20. However, from a roleplay perspective, it makes way more sense that Amaros would use the nat 1 in this scenario.
I'm glad.
It's all good.
I'm glad, although I felt bad about that you missed out on that, I'm glad in a way that you didn't, because I would have been mortified had Bula run in there and not being able to get an attack on at least one attack in there. Because she
that's
was
totally
out
fair.
in
And
front.
also, I've been rolling high in previous sessions, so it's just all, let's say, in Kane's words, balanced.
Yes.
It's the balance.
It's everywhere.
But yes, thank you very much all for playing, and I'm glad that you enjoyed yourselves, and hopefully we'll have a full party for next time.